From Cornwall to Birmingham and Johnston and Bexhill, here's Ruben Spire on the radio.
Hello to Medieval Babes. Katharine Blake, how are you today?
I'm great, thank you. Thanks for having me on the show. How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. Thank you for letting me chat to you today. So, can you tell me roughly how long have the Medieval Babes been started?
Well, we actually started in 1996, when obviously I was like just an embryo back then, you know. It was I got all my friends together and out of the womb and convinced them all to sing some medieval songs with me. To start with, they were like, "You're having a laugh, aren't you?" I'm like, "No, I'm for real." And luckily, all my friends happened to be incredibly good looking, and they could all sing, and that's how the adventure began. And initially, it was just a sort of recreational pursuit and partly an excuse to get together with your lady friends. But things escalated, and like within just over a year, or about a year and a half later, we had a #2 classical album, and who would have ever thought it that nearly 30 years later we're still going. We've seen about 30 members come and go over the years. I'm currently writing, I think is it the 12th or the 13th studio album? So it's been a very magical journey, and one that I hope carries on for many decades more.
So, can you tell me more about your debut album called Cyber North?
Sabanos, yeah. Well, that was released on Virgin amid a total media circus. It was the Spice Girls had just come out, and we were on the same label as them, so we were sort of branded, to use a medieval term. We were kind of branded the medieval Spice Girls, Ye Olde Spice. So it was it was quite a crude marketing campaign, but it was a very successful one, that's what launched our career. And it was partly on that album was partly medieval songs and partly my settings of medieval music, so settings of medieval poetry, so my own compositions using ancient text. And it just went from there. And here we are, doing a 17-date tour of cathedrals and churches this December.
I'll tell you about that shortly. So, Keith, what was it like going to the recording studio back when Medieval Babes started?
Well, we had a very unusual experience in our first ever recording studio. It was Dave Stewart's studio called The Church in Crouch End in North London. And, you know, it seemed like the perfect place because it was a church and also a recording studio. But unluckily for us, they hadn't properly soundproofed it. And as a lot of our music is a cappella, where there's only voices, we picked up the sounds of buses on the recording. So we had to go and re-record half of it because, let's face it, buses are not medieval. You know, if it had been the sound of a town crier outside or some birds or some thundering hooves or the clash of armour in battle, fine, but no buses. Can't have buses.
Or church bells, that'd be nice.
Church bells, I mean, there's a lot of things it could have been, but buses, no. That would have broken the spell.
So, can you tell me more about your album? It's called The Rose.
The album called The Rose, that was our 4th album, and God, I really love the artwork from that album. It's astonishing. The amazing artist Piers Atkinson did these fantastic photos of ours, and then Vanya Zhuravlyov did the cover. But that album, I mean, it's got some of my favourite tracks on it that we still perform today. One is like I Am Eve is the opening track, which is a setting of a 9th century Irish song, so that the words are, well, incredibly ancient. There's another fantastic song on there called Dringo Bell, which is a very, very salacious, bawdy tale by the poet Chaucer that I set to music. So it's a very mixed bag, that one. Also, there's a track with the Sour Grove on there, which is a solo of mine, which is an ancient Welsh poem. So yeah, lots of different languages appear on that album.
So do you find songwriting easy? Does it come easy to you?
Sometimes it's about getting in the zone. I'm a mum, so I've got to make sure the kids aren't around, and just I like to get myself into sort of trance-like state, so that, I don't know, you feel like you're almost channeling ideas. So it's not you writing it; it's like coming from somewhere else. So if you get into that state where it's really flowing, then things can become easy and very, very unproductive.
So I know you released quite a few albums. So was it like to release your debut single called "The Miracle"?
The Miracle, that wasn't really a debut single. It was one of the tracks off our 5th album, I think, Illumination. That was actually a bit of an experiment. That one with some I had a sort of more modern production approach on it. But that's not something that we've done very much of. But we have done other collaborations with artists that have put more sort of electronic kind of beats, for want of a better word, approach. Like, for instance, we collaborated with the band Orbital, who used an album from our nursery rhyme album, Pocket Full of Posies. They chose the song Ring a Ring a Rosies, and it was actually a hit. It got to number 8 in the main charts. It was just after COVID, so they wanted to do something that was sort of a nod to the plague, so that was why they chose Ring a Ring a Rosies, because that's some people think that's what that song's about.
So, can you tell me more about the album that we quickly still called Victoriana?
Victoriano, that's actually a compilation album which features, as its sort of title track, the theme music from the hit TV show Victoria, which we were lucky enough to be asked to sing on the soundtrack for, collaborating with the amazing composer Martin Phipps. I think a lot of people discovered us through that soundtrack, so that was a really good thing for us.
So, can you tell me more about the album that released called A Pocket of Posies?
A Pocket Full of Posies. Well, that's that nursery rhyme album I was telling you about. It's very psychedelic, dark, reimagined versions of nursery rhymes. Because when I became a mum, I was listening to all these nursery rhymes that were on offer, and I just thought they were rubbish, really unimaginative, really dumbed down. And children have such an amazing imagination, and they're such a sponge for all the weird and wonderful things in the universe at that tender age. I thought it was a shame to not give them something more, what I consider to be more imaginative to listen to. So that's what inspired me to do that album. It actually took 4.5 years. It was an absolute labour of love, that one. But yeah, I got there in the end. And I think it's enjoyed by children and adults alike.
So, as we're in the coming up to Christmas very shortly, so can you tell me more of the album they've released called MydWynter?
MydWynter, well, that is the last album that we released 2 years ago. It's a seasonal album. It has some extremely well-known Christmas carols on it, such as Deck the Halls and what's that other really famous? Oh gosh, my mind's gone blank. It's got Carol of the Bells is a very famous one on there as well. And then it's got some lesser known songs such as The Gower Wassail and a few songs that I've written myself. The amazing Noel Nouvelet, which is a very uplifting French carol, Personate Hodie, fantastic Latin 16th century carol. It is one of my favourite ever Baebes albums, and I'd very much recommend it as if you're looking for something a bit different at Christmas, not the usual run-of-the-mill stuff, but still very seasonal.
So we're going to play from that album a Wexford Carol. So can you say more about that?
Well, this is a classic nativity. It's an Irish song, very ancient Irish song, but which I think was originally written in Irish, but we're doing it in modern English. It features the stunning vocals of Marie Findlay soloing at the beginning, and I love the harmonies on this one and the melody. It's just very, very twisty turning. So
are you working on any new music in the near future?
I certainly am. I'm writing the next Mediaeval Baebes album, for the first time ever, I'm writing all the words myself. I've written quite a lot of lyrics in my life, but this is the first time I've written lyrics to Mediaeval Baebes as opposed to setting ancient poetry.
So I know you come to Birmingham Cathedral last year, so I know you're coming on tour this year soon.
Yeah, it was actually St Martin's in the Bullring we went to. But we have also played Birmingham Cathedral, but we thought we'd try out St Martin's for a change. And yeah, that was fun.
So can you tell me more about the upcoming tour you got this year at various cathedrals?
We're doing a 17-date tour around the country. We're playing quite a few cathedrals. We're playing Truro Cathedral, as you know, Norwich Cathedral, Newcastle Cathedral, Chelmsford Cathedral, Leicester Cathedral. We're also playing Tewkesbury Abbey, Stoke Minster, Leeds Minster. So it's a very ambitious tour, and we can't wait to. We had a rehearsal last night, and everyone's getting very, very excited. It's like the band. The band is sort of like my Christmas family, because we always spend December together. We've had the same lineup now for 4 years in a row, which is great because it's obviously really working. No one's left, so that's got to be a good sign, right? I don't force them to stay. They can leave anytime they want, but they don't. So I must be doing something right.
There certainly are. So, is there any of those cathedrals that you haven't played at before?
Yes, Chelmsford Cathedral. It's the first time we're going to play there. We normally play at Colchester Arts Centre, but we've outgrown it. We needed to find a bigger venue, such as our burgeoning popularity.
So, can you tell me, what was it like being an independent artist with the Medieval Baebes? What's that like?
Well, I very much like doing things on my own terms. I have had lots of record deals in the past. I've had lots of collaborative approaches for working with people, but these days I am the boss. I write all the music. I'm the manager of the band. Everyone seems very happy with that arrangement, and I'm very, very independent. I don't like being told what to do. If someone tells me I can't do something, that will just make me even more determined to do it.
So, can you tell listeners, where can I find you, Medieval Baebes, on your socials, please?
Well, you can go to our Facebook page. You can go to our Instagram page. If you want to buy tickets to our December tour, the ceremony, go to medievalbabes.com, and the tickets are all available there.
Thank you. Let me chat to you today.
It's lovely chatting to you too, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
Enjoy the rest of your day too.
Thank you. Bye bye, Ruben. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. Bye bye.
Bye.